So let's welcome this Mr. Ifeanyi Ezinmadu to the stage.
Thank you very much for having me. And it's great to be here with Nelson. I mean, I've been following his journey for quite a long time. As I said, we studied together. I will talk a bit about that. Yeah, we studied together, which also says the value of keeping your network close, right? It's not just about what we did over 10 years ago. Actually, we finished high school together 12 years ago, in fact, so and studied even before that. So we've probably known each other for 15 or 16 years thereabouts, and it's then to look 15, 16 years from today, the people you're speaking with, are you still going to be in touch with them? Because you never know. Well, I will talk a bit about myself, but before I do, I want to ask us, what does creativity and innovation mean to you? Just put it in the comment section. Once you do that, I'll say, I did not create any deck because I'm sure you all are fed or constantly consume decks, So I think it's going to be more a Q&A, a more reflective session, and something interactive where we both are actually gonna interact as much as possible. So where this conversation is gonna end, I don't know, but we all are gonna be creative and innovative in the session, So drop in the comment section what creativity and innovation mean to you. I can't see anything in the chat just yet, so just wait a second. Precious said, creativity is the ability to think outside the box, generate new ideas, and make connections. Okay. Can I not still be creative within the box? I'll leave that question open. So thinking outside the box, yes. Can we still be creative with the status quo? I think we can. I'm waiting for others to put something in the chat. Oh, someone has raised up their hand. Go for it, Adeni. Please unmute yourself and speak. Hi, Adeni. I think you're still on mute. Okay, whilst wait for Adeni, someone else said, creativity means an act of being creative, that is to make new things or think of new ideas. Okay, we're talking about creativity. What of the innovation part of the puzzle? So creativity and innovation. What does innovation mean to you? Creativity is generating new ideas, while innovation is turning those ideas into reality. So can something creative also be innovative? Are they different, or are they the same? Can they even be the same? Can innovation pass for creativity? Can creativity pass for innovation? Well, I'll still keep that open. We'll figure it out together on this call. Creativity is the ability to make something out of nothing and bring ideas to life. Okay, that sounds grand, but can we also be creative with the things we already have, as opposed to something out of nothing? It's a question. We would all uncover it together. I'll read one more before I go ahead. Oh, okay, the chat is flooding now. You know what? I'll let you all go ahead with this. Just put it in there. Innovation in the process to introduce new ideas or devices. Okay. Innovation means turning that creative idea into something useful. I think all of these are correct. My own notion is something creative will certainly pass as being innovative. And something we call innovation is also is an extension of creativity. And I don't say that as a music scholar or a tech startup founder. It's just the reality. And I'll walk you through what that has meant in the course of my own life over the last 28 years of my life, soon to be 29, Um, let me just see. Someone else said innovation means turning that creative idea into something useful. I absolutely agree. So again, my journey to everything that has been read about me, ignore all of that and let's go to the grassroots, right? Oh, Adeni, are you trying to say something? No, okay, that's fine. Yeah. My journey till date, I mean, I'm in London at the moment, but my journey did not start here. It started in Ipajayobo. If you know Ipajayobo, please say I do. Just write something in the comment section, and if you don't, I will describe it for you. Michael is want to say something. Michael, please go ahead and mute yourself. For those that know Ipajayobo, please put I do in the chat, and I would zone into that. And for those that don't, I would actually tell you a bit more about that. Michael, please unmute yourself and go for it. Oh, a lot of people are from, or they do know Ipajayobo. I want to believe you all are not from Ipajayobo. Nelson, well, where is everyone calling from today? Are we scattered around Lagos or Nigeria, or is it within the Ipajayobo region? Okay, within Alimasha. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so a lot of you are familiar with that region, which is great because that's where my journey started from. Ifeanyichukwu, that is being read about today or being spoken about, started from there. And if we look back 10, not even 10, 20 years ago, 20, 16 years ago, thereabouts, you can imagine what a Pajayobo was like. It's not as fancy as it is. I'm not saying it is fancy now, but it's not as grand, you know, with all the nice roads and all those little things that I saw the last time I was there. That was not what it was then. But how did I become creative and innovative with the little resources I had? This is someone who I was often sent home away for school fees. I mean, name it. You can tell me your story and I'll tell you mine, you know. You know. But the most important thing there is what did I do with the opportunity that I had, you know, within my space, within my sphere. So I was studying at Abbott Day Spring College. That's where I met Nelson, by the way. So I joined that school about my GS theory thereabout. So and I was there till the end of senior school. But the most important thing, whilst in that school, it was not about what I was actually studying. I was supposed to go to sciences, as you guys might know then. I don't know if they still do that now, whereby based on your grades, right, they assign you to, or they think the smart guys go to science, the not so good one go to art, and everything in between is business, you know. Well, I was recommended to go to science, but I said I wanted to do art. And I think that was a downfall of my academic, like me being interested in everything that was being taught in school, which is a rookie mistake. For those that are still in school, I will tell you why. Okay. Because I wanted to do something musical. I wanted to do something creative. I've just had this access to the Moson School of Music, Onikon, Lagos, right? And I was there for 6 to 8 months there, but I don't remember exactly, but I was on a private scholarship to go to the School of Music. The one I consider the best school of music till date in Lagos, right? So I studied classical piano there during that period, and it opened up my mind. You know, something you don't see in Ayobo. That's why I like to start the story with Ayobo. Like, right, so you're on the island now. You are the Moson Center. You sit at the Ajip Hall, and someone goes on stage to play the piano. When they do, everyone clap, they bow, they play their classical piece, right? And everyone keeps quiet till the end of that performance. They take a bow, and it just sounded foreign. Like you would think, what is this? Which is so normal when I look at it now, but then it's not It's not something to associate with Ayobo. It's not something to associate with that region, right? So for the first time, I saw something outside the box. Somebody said something before. I saw something that opened my mind, that it made me yearn for more, beyond what I was being taught at Abbott, beyond my immediate environment. Every Saturday, I looked forward to going back to Musan just to experience that thing I experienced. And I'm like, if people can do this, why can't I? And I don't want to use the cliche, like, oh, do they have two heads or something? No, not even that. It's just like, it felt like we were in the same Lagos, but our reality of life was just completely opposite, you know. And when we talk about music in Ayobo, at least then, I mean, you'll probably be rapping, or you're trying to be another Davido or something at that point in time, not classical music, So again, I mean, there are some Eurocentric concerns around that, but that's not the point of this talk. But it just made me yearn for more. And the question was, oh, was I starting to pay more attention in school or not? I actually wasn't. So my grade in school started going down significantly because I just did not care about Monday to Friday. In fact, a teacher was calling me NEPA then, because NEPA takes light on and off, That's how I show up in school. I show up when I show up, and you better be grateful I show up. Again, rookie mistake. To the teenagers out there, please don't do that. Don't do that. God has been gracious to me. I found my path back, not because I was not paying attention to the little things. I knew I was not going to fail any exam. That I think I was intelligent enough not to fail an exam, but that did not mean I gave it the attention it deserved at that point in time. Does that make sense? So that led to me finishing high school, and thereafter, I wanted to go to the School of Music so I could do what I wanted to do full time, but that did not happen. So I, in fact, stayed at Abbott. For those who know that area again, it's a local school. Stayed there as a music teacher to kind of make a change. And that's where I like to say that is the catalyst. Not because I stayed to teach, right? But because I stopped conforming to the norm of the society. Now imagine you finishing from a school and going back to that school whilst your mates, like Nelson and a few others, were already going into university, right? And I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't know what a jam form looks like till date. I've not seen one. I don't know. I've not paid for one to even start it because I just did not want to go that route, right? And the point of that story is my time at Abbott now on the teaching side, what inspired that was not just because, oh, I was just jobless, I don't know what to do. No, it was because whilst I was there, I felt like, can we give the children here? I mean, people that were almost my age, I finished school at 18, thereabout, but can we give others the same experience I had at Muson? That feeling of this is different, this is unique, this is special, And it's even normal. And when I say special, I mean special in the context of our, but this is just like a regular day to day, And can we bring their reality to people who might not, in the course of their time in Ayobo, experience such a thing, And in the little way I can do that, creativity, innovation, was me going to the owner of the school to pitch. Oh, can I come back and teach? Can I open the opportunities to these people? So I was teaching from actually, I think primary 2 down to GS3 thereabout at 18. So I was being paid to do this professionally. I was the one designing my own syllabus. I was, again, if we look back in time, will that be the right approach? Maybe or maybe not. But what I took out of that was it was a starting point. It was the catalyst for everything I went on to do thereafter, right? And moving out of Ayobo, the year after I started teaching, this was 1 year after finishing university now. Again, Nelson, I believe, was already in second year university, or a few other people who graduated with classic Nigeria situation or Ayobo situation where your parents are then going to be like, oh, Are you not going to go to the jam class, or what are you going to do with your life now? Well, I was lucky my dad was not like that. It was more the question of, oh, what's the next thing? What's the plan? And again, you need to take ownership for whatever you decide to do, because everything I'm saying, everything could have flopped. Remember, I said I was turning up in school when I wanted to. I finished high school with, I think, was it 6 C's or so and 1 B or so? Just take, I don't want to see that result. It was not great at all. But that was not the reality of me at Muson. I was smashing all the exams. In fact, in 28, let me think, in 2016 or 17, thereabout, I had the highest score across Nigeria for the ABRSM music exam. That's the Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music. It's a UK-based organization. So tell me how I was doing that for music, but I was having C's and, and every other thing in school because I was not paying attention. I did not care about what was going on. Again, learn from my own lesson. Things turned out well for me at the end of the day. But could things have turned better? I think so. Looking back, or could I have sped up some of the time I wasted in there just because I did not pay attention when I needed to pay attention to stuff? To the teenagers out there again, I would say, whatever you find yourself doing now, if you want to be a rapper, if you want to be a dancer, I don't care what you want to be. I would support you 100%. But whatever you find yourself doing today, do it well. Put your heart and soul into it. And it does not matter the environment you are in. That's why I started with the Ayobo story. I have not talked about this Ayobo story in years, to be honest. I wouldn't talk about it because it's not something to be proud of per se, but it is necessary to bring that in so you understand, you get more context beyond the bio that was read. Ignore all of that and get a true picture. So creativity, innovation, I'll tie it all together again. So I was already at Muson, did this Ayaskara stuff, smashed all of that. Then it was time, what am I going to do with my life after that again? You've gotten to that point, okay, you've achieved what you've been looking forward to achieve, what you've not been paying attention in school, you are here. What are you going to do with that? Right. I started consuming literally any music book you can find, anything that can take me from where I was to the next level. And the next level was literally, okay, I want to study abroad now. And I was not going to pay anything because I cannot pay anything. I would possibly, even then, I don't think I could afford a flight ticket from Lagos to Abuja. So how are you going to pay for tuition in the UK or in the US? Like, I can't even fly from Lagos to Cotonou. Like, how are you going to get to London? Like, it makes no sense. But again, you can be creative in the space you are, right? And my own creativity was more around, oh, what is my forte? I can sit down, read, understand what I'm reading, sit for exams that would unlock opportunities for me. And that's what I played into. I keyed into my superpower. So I could spend 5 hours practicing the piano. That is fine. I'm paying my dues because that's what I need to do. But on the other arm, I was doing every other thing that I need to unlock the door. It's not just, oh, sit down at the piano and play. That only moves you to one part of the puzzle, right? So again, I'm saying, with anything you find yourself doing, do it well. In everything I'm saying, the only part I'm not proud of was my time at Abbott because I stopped paying attention, right? But everything after that, I became more intentional. I learned from that mistake, right? That cost me some years in there before even achieving what I wanted to achieve. By the time I was deciding to now consider going into university, a lot of my high school mates have already finished university. I went to uni 5 years after secondary school. Just because I had this dream, Martin Luther King, I have a dream. You don't have a dream until you put the work into it. You know what I mean? It's not just an imagination. Like you need to put in the work. right? But I'll tell you how all of these educational experiences matter. 2018 came, actually 2017, thereabout. I saw the opportunity to study in Edinburgh through the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. Now, if you know the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program, or if you don't actually, you should check it out. First of all, I'm doing a free promo for them right now. Please check it out. We've got scholarships across the UK, the US, across Africa, a lot of stuff going in across the continent right now. So please do check that out. And I'm more than happy to help if you get to the interview stages, so I can speak to you at that point. But do the work first, apply. Don't come to me and tell me to put an application for you. I wouldn't. Okay, back to the point, right? It was time to apply. I had this Nokia phone. It was a horrible phone, but it worked. It worked. You can call, you can text, right? You can surf the net. Again, creativity and innovation. How can you be creative with what you've got? With that little phone, I know a lot of teenagers these days, you're spending your time on TikTok, Instagram. I don't have any issue with that, by the way. If you're following the right set of people that inspire you, then please do so. But at the same time, that device could be your connection of creativity you will really want to attain, right? So for me, it was, I want to study in one of the top 10 to 20 universities in the world. That is a non-negotiable. This is the boy from Ayobo who was now at Muson. I'm smashing it, highest scorer. I'm like, I don't want to play local anymore. Being highest scorer in Nigeria was not enough anymore. It's like, how can we take this internationally? How can we do more? How can we, did you remember what I said at the start of this conversation? The experience of going into that Ajip hall at Muson, watching people do something that was unusual, that was calm, that was peaceful. In the hall, it's just a classical concert, which in the UK is just a normal thing. It's not special, but it was special to me. For the first time I experienced that, right? And this is now me saying, oh, we're not playing Ayobo anymore. We're at Lagos Island. Okay, we've ticked the box. But we didn't want to play Lagos anymore. We're across the nation. Okay, we've ticked the Nigeria box. I don't want to play Nigeria anymore. I want to go straight and play in the world. Open your mind. And my techno phone again is the little with the, I think it had a scratch on the screen. So one part of the screen was not even working. That was what I used to find the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. Nobody came to tell me. I found it myself, right? Instead of speaking with people, it's like, oh, we don't think Mastercard is going to sponsor music. This one, that one, that one, this one. How many Nigerians have you seen study music? What are you going to do after what you study music? Here I am today. So now, probably going on in the future, every other person that is going to apply, like, oh, you want to study something? There is somebody that has done it. Why can't you be the first? Again, unlock the creativity. How can you make your application interesting enough? How can you pay attention in everything you were doing before? Because to get that scholarship, a fully funded scholarship at that point in time, is to tell the story. What have I been doing? What was I doing in high school? How did I go on to what I was doing at Muson, to what I want to do in the future? You know, selling that story. And most importantly, tying it to creativity and innovation. For me, then, it's about transformative leadership, or even a transformational journey to start with. Because for me to make an impact in Nigeria, or let's even start with Ayobo, which for me to make an impact in Ayobo, what the resources I had was not just enough. Let's be honest. If I stayed in Ayobo, I can already tell how much I will be worth today. It's as simple as that. It's just by the virtue of the environment. There is nothing bad in it. It's just the reality of life, right? So for me, that just meant like moving out of that zone, meeting new people, expanding my knowledge by reading could help me start to imagine things I had not imagined before. Because someone said something about innovation, like uh, creating something out of nothing or creating something new or so, something different from what is. I can't remember the exact word they use. But for me, that was not the case. I was creating from within. I don't like to say I knew what poverty was, but I don't know if you've seen that meme. You say poverty sat me down. But there was a point in there, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. What have I got? I've got my brain. I've got a mindset. I've done this before. I have opened opportunities just by the virtue of me sitting down and paying attention to the little things. And again, if you've not got money, the little things you can pay attention to is your book. If you're on social media, again, I say I have nothing against this as a teenager. Who are you following? Who are you listening to? Because if you can open up your mind, neuroplasticity, if you can open up your mind, you start to imagine beyond your environment. That's where innovation started. So it started from within, knowing what I don't want to be when I grow up. Not what I want to be. I knew, but most importantly, what I don't want to be. I already knew the part of me from my yobo, and it's like, no, I don't want to live that life. I've seen people that have gone before me, and I was like, that is not how I want to turn out in my 30s. That's not how I want to turn out in my 40s, in my 50s, even across the country also. I mean, I'm not saying like people on Lagos Island are better than us in any way. No. I've met other people also, even across the country, and I'm like, I don't want to be like that. So how can I be like the people I emulate or people I see that inspire me? What have they done? Creativity, innovation from within. I was not creating from nothing. I was creating from what was inside of me. Taking it further, I then came to the UK, right? I got a full scholarship for 5 years. And I'll brag for like 1 minute. I'll let so you understand how different it is. So this guy has been planning. You've been trying to get this opportunity, but let's tell you how fantastic that was. So I got in the UK September 2018, right? And I got the visa actually on a Friday, on a Saturday morning. Well, on a Friday, then the university called me, and the next question is, when do you want to fly down to the UK? This is, at that point, I was already working and stuff. I could probably afford a flight to London or so. But even at that, it's like, it's unheard of. It's not a conversation I would have had like a year before that or 2 years before that. And it's like, oh, my next question is, oh, when is the next available flight to London? To Edinburgh, actually, and over the call, everything was sorted. And I was on the next flight to the UK on a Saturday morning, the first flight out of Lagos. And that started changing a lot. Again, everything was in my mind, but now the mind is a reality. Arrived. By the time I got in, Mastercard, amazing organization. Again, I'm saying apply for the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship if you can. Right. But those from my apply. No excuse, please. By the time I came in, there was already like my SIM card was there. I had cash waiting for me. I had my laptop. I got a MacBook for the first time. That was there waiting for me. Like everything was set. I was not thinking of my accommodation. My room was prepared. It just, I don't know if you know the story of Joseph. Like when Joseph became the king and all that, and all the journey with Potiphar's wife and also, that arrival, it was like, I have done the work. This is my time to enjoy. Does that make sense? I have paid my dues in Nigeria. I have paid my due in Ayobo. The only place I did not pay my due was in Abbott when I should have been listening. So I'm telling you, please listen. But I have paid my dues. It was time to start to reap. And everything was just unfolding at that point in time. Now, tell me how you will not be creative. You went from being NEPA in school and actually being in an environment that actually NEPA is a reality. You can't even study properly for my work. Light goes off when it goes off. It turns on when it turns on. So you can't even say I'll study 8 to 9. Studying 8 to 9 is a probability. You know what I mean? Because where's the light to do so? Except if you've got a lamp. You now go to 24 hours power supply. Like I can count how many times light has gone off in this country, right? And so many other things that uncovered itself in the course of my study. And by the way, remember I said I wanted to study in one of the top 10 to 20 universities in the world. By the time I came into Edinburgh, the University of Edinburgh was number 12 or so in the world. So I think just below Oxford and Cambridge was Edinburgh or thereabout. And in terms of innovation and creating startup, we're actually number 1 in the UK. So I said, let me brag for a little bit. But again, it's that same man from Ayobo. It's that same person at Abbott. It's that same person at Moson. Right? It became a thing. And now, okay, I can see people raising up their hands. Hold on, I'll let you speak. Just hold on a second. I said I came into the UK saying I want to reap and I want to enjoy. Well, you know what happens to your mind when it starts to explode? When you start to see things you've only imagined, you become restless. Enjoyment is you're enjoying the good things of life. However, you even yearn for more. Right? It's like I've not arrived yet. I've not even started. I'm just starting. I mean, the journey has just started from where I wanted it to start. And by the time I was getting into the UK, by the way, Nelson definitely, I believe, had to finish university by that time. So a lot of my classmates. So, but it did not matter. It did not matter. All that mattered was what I had, what vision I had for my life, what vision I understood, what I wanted to do with my own life. In a good way, not in a bad way, saying, oh, you don't want to listen to advice from other people, but in a genuinely good way, So that restlessness, right, made me curious. Oh, first year, I believed first year was pretty much settling down. But even then, I saw an opportunity that was advertised for a postgraduate piano accompanist in a reputable organization. And I applied as a first-year student. Again, DM me and I'll show up. Then you'll know who I am, Ifeanyichukwu Ezinmadu. I showed up and I smashed the interview. I smashed the performance. I was put on the spot to accompany a choir, the National Youth Choir of Scotland, by the way. So I showed up, did amazing at that stuff. I was like, guy, you can't go. Can you stay back and finish this rehearsal with us? And I stayed with the organization for 4 or 5 years thereabout. Again, that was a job opportunity that was advertised as a postgraduate role. I got it in my first year. Believe in yourself, right? Believe in yourself and show up and do the work. But the only way I could have done that was because I spent time working at Moson. I put in the work. I put in the hours. Nobody can tell me it's luck. It's not luck. It's work. Like I put in the work into it. There is the grace of God that I absolutely agree with. But I put in, there's a faith without work is dead. So I put in the work. So when things started to unfold, when it started to uncover itself, what else can I do than just be more creative, more innovative, and start to think outside? It was like, what can we do again? What is the next thing? Which is a good, but also a bad thing, because you might end up being restless for life. Have I found rest? Maybe not. Gradually, I'm getting there, but not yet. But that's a topic for another day. But to say, where do you draw the line? I was speaking with a friend, and I look on social media and I see a couple of Nigerians, young Nigerians. You bought your first car and you have arrived. That's a definition of arrival to you. Or you've traveled out of the country for the first time. That is it. Nobody's going to hear a word anymore. So again, what's your definition? What's your definition of success? Right? And equally, I know people that have not left the country, or have not primarily lived outside of Nigeria, who I respect for what they do and who they are. And Nelson is one of them. And I'm not saying that just because he's here. He knows we've been in touch. We don't speak day in, day out. We speak probably once in 3 months or once in 2 months or something. But then you see those that have put in the work. One of my engineers on Symphome today was one student from Abbott also. And is, to brag again, is salary with us. I know other people in the country, way older, way more experienced, not getting that. And what was the thing? I was following his journey. I knew he was interested in coding all the while. He was at Abbott. We had this little computer lab in Abbott. He was doing a bit there. But I was just following his journey. And the days something opened, like, oh, who can we call a junior developer that can help us? I was like, this is the guy. I've seen the work. He's put in the work over the years. This is the guy. And he passed the test. And he's doing amazing. Again, your environment, or because you are in Ayobo, Ayobo or Alimosha, should not determine where your mind, the creativity, the innovation in your mind or of the mind. Unlock it, break the chain. Like, just think outside the box. I like to say, if money was not a problem, what do you want to do in life? I wouldn't say I'm wealthy. Well, I'm wealthy in terms of good health of mind and body, but I'm not your $10. I'm not Dangote or anything. But I can stand before kings and men. I can speak confidently. My startup has gone on to, we started our trade show in San Diego last year, which I was there. We did another one in London. Then a couple of my team members went to Shanghai to present my stuff. This is my own startup, something I thought in my head that is now out there in the world, beyond me even. I did not make it to the trip to Shanghai, but it's just to sit down here in London and just imagine, like, oh. So there are some people in another continent right now talking about something I had just in my head. It's the same boy from Ayobo. It's the same boy from Abbott. It's the same boy from Mosun. How are you being creative? How are you being innovative? And innovation, again, I like to say, come from within. For you to be creative, you have to innovate. Innovate means to do something new, right? Even if you're a singer or a painter, right? But with every brush of with every stroke of your brush, right? You are building something new. For me, it's putting together all my academic knowledge. Like, what can I do now? What's the next? And I've got one of the best scholarships in the world. Actually, we always say, like, after the Rhodes Scholarship is at Oxford University. And I think Obama was part of the Rhodes Scholarship. Quite a number of US presidents were Rhodes Scholars. I have friends who are Rhodes Scholars also from Masterclass, but after the Rhodes Scholarship, the next scholarship we consider next in line global is the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. So I was like, if I'm already on par with that, then what is stopping me again? What else? It's a thing of the mind. I'm saying I don't have $10 money. I'm nowhere there at all. But this mind will think and will action things. Will be creative and will innovate. With a little resources, we will build something. What are you building today? What are you thinking about building? If money was not a problem, what are you building? And another thing I like to say, money follows not just preparedness, but also creative minds. Because by the time I started going out to raise investments for my startup, now we're getting to the serious bits. I know I've finished all the your story, but I'm walking you through the journey, right? By the time I started going out to raise capital from investors, our lead investor, a reputable person in London, and I was like, why did you invest? And she said, for MasterCard to have chosen you among so many applicants that applied. By the way, there were about 5,000 applicants and there were just 25 of us in my cohort. So for Mastercard to have chosen you in this cohort, they've done the work for me. They've already attested that you are somebody that can be trusted. You are somebody that can commit to something and do it well. So then it was not what I was saying anymore. It was the work I've done in the past that was speaking for me. How much work have you put into what you do today? You're a student. How much work? I don't know, you braid hair. How much work have you put in? You are a singer. How much work have you? How many studio sessions have you done? You're a dancer. Where are your videos? I have not seen enough of it. You want to be an engineer. How much have you read? How much have you put together? You want to be an accountant. Where's your ICANN? Like, what work are you putting towards it? The flip side of that story is I don't even play music anymore. I don't have the time to make music. I don't have the time. Right? But I still run my music tech startup. The work I've put in speaks for everything I do today. And everything I do today benefits from the experience or the body of knowledge I've built before now. I can walk into a meeting and solve things that people have been racking their head over for a day or two. I can solve it in 5 to 10 minutes. Not because I'm more intelligent, I would not put it that way, but because I can put 1 and 2 together based on things I've done before, things I've read before, things I know I've seen before, and put that together and say, oh, I think this is the best way forward. So that means I'm not working, I'm working hard, but I'm not working hard, I'm working smart, right? But I've paid my dues. And I'm still paying my dues. And I've not even, if I was to look at my journey, I think I'm 25% in terms of unlocking what I envisage for my life. All I ask at this stage is just a long life and good health of mind and body. We've not started at all. There are a lot of innovative ideas like I want to unlock. Is that keeping you awake also? What do you want to work on? How can you be creative in the space you are in? Most of my piano practice, when I did the Muson scholarship, it was done in Ayobo on a little keyboard. I still see that keyboard whenever I go back home. So it's done in Ayobo. The key is gonna break. We'll buy super glue, gum it again. Yoruba will say Ashimate Kini. We'll press it. We are there. We'll press it. You know. But now I can buy many of that keyboard if I wanted to. You need to put in the work. That's all I will say. You need to put in the work. And then you start being creative from a place of knowledge, from a place of not just, oh, anybody can say I want to build a tech startup. Remember, I did not study tech. I did not study anything to do. I can probably write hello world and put a border on a button, HTML, CSS. I will probably do one of those, and that's it. That's where my technical, my actual technical coding skills end. But I manage AI engineers. I mean, we've got one in Italy. We were working with one in China in December. I worked with a couple of developers in India who worked for me. Now we've got a new set of engineers in Lagos. But again, at the highest level it can be, how can we innovate? One thing I would not like to discredit is, oh, I've done work, I've put in the work, I've put in the work, I've put in the work, and things were just going smoothly. Whilst I was trying to create and be innovative, I've also lost so much along the way. Time, something intangible asset, time with family. Getting the visa on a Friday, leaving Saturday morning with less than 8 or 10 hours to say goodbye. And I don't think I've spent up to 3 weeks in Nigeria at the time since I've been going back. The last time I was there, I spent 4 days, 4 nights, 5 days, 4 nights here. Time. There's a price to pay for everything. But again, what do you want out of your life? Right? Money, another one. So I've said all this amazing stuff, but everything did not come true, or because I had more money. No, not at all. I'll go and ask any Masterclass scholar, even Rhodes scholars. You are paid enough to live and survive, but you're not paid so that you become Dangote. No, it's not a Ponzi scheme. You're on an academic scholarship. You can consume as many books as you want. You can't consume money that way. It's not a pathway to getting rich. No, it's a pathway to get rich in the mind, So again, how can you maximize what you've got? How can you be creative in the space you are today? What does innovation truly mean for you with where you are today? If money was never the challenge, the Dangote is going to be like, I'll give you all the money you need. What are you going to say you want to build? Will your next ask be, I just want to buy a car, I've arrived. I just want a ticket to Dubai, I've arrived. Then you're probably thinking wrong. Open your mind to the world. Your phone would do a lot for you, and it could also cause a lot of harm. I know these are a community of teenagers. So remember, I said I have nothing against you having access to the media and all your social media accounts. I have nothing against that. It's more so what you are paying attention to or who you are listening to. I would not name names of bloggers and stuff like that, but if you are all about just entertainment, then that's all it's going to be for you. You'll still be laughing at jokes at 40 and 50, and that's all it's ever going to be. But if you're listening to people, when you turn on your Instagram, the next word you are hearing is something that inspires you. You are heading the right direction. Because by the time your mind starts to open up beyond your current situation, beyond where you are today. And when I say current situation, I'm not just saying being poor. No, I've met a lot of wealthy people also who know nada. Nothing upstairs, it's just money. So it's not equal. Having money is not directly correlated to being smart. Yeah, it's completely different. It's not. Maximize every bit of what you've got. I will leave it at that. creativity and innovation. I would open the floor now for you to ask me questions. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. My goodness. My God. Thank you. I was just bloated all the way because many of the stories you shared, right? I could remember them just like yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So grateful to have you here. All right, first, I'm going to hand over to you so you coordinate the questions and answers. Let's do that for 15 minutes so we can allow Mr. Ifeanyi to get to other things he has to do. Over to you, Precious.
Precious, before you go, just give me 30 seconds. I just want to grab what's on the table over there and I'll be back here.
All right, sir.
Precious, unmute your mic, please.
Okay, sir. Dun, 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 dun. So, question. Okay, so we've already.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, welcome back, sir. Okay, so now we are in the question and answer section. So please, any question, let's raise up our hands. Sharp, sharp.
Fatima, go for it.
Fatima, you can unmute your mic and go ahead.
Okay, I think Jimo has a question since Fatima.
Okay, while we're waiting for Fatima, I think we have two other persons. Jimo Bode, can you unmute your mic? Whoever is ready, unmute your mic quickly and ask
Good
your
evening, sir.
question.
Good evening, sir. Ifeanyi.
Hello, good evening.
First of all, I want to say thank you for what you have told us today. I really appreciate it. But there is something I want to ask concerning what you said earlier. You mentioned something like, you mentioned about scholarship. So I want to ask that, is it possible that I apply for it? Like, is it only for musical students to apply for the scholarship? Or as a student in Nigeria, you can apply for a scholarship if you have any skills.
The Masterclass Foundation Scholarship covers all sector. However, some universities are some universities have specific requirements, right? And by the way, for music, I was the only one. Every other person like engineering, law, medical science, and all of those things. So it's not a scholarship designed for music, not in any way. Okay. So at the moment in the UK, we've got University of Edinburgh, we've got Oxford, we've got Cambridge, under the Mastercard Foundation scholarship, right? In the States, we've got the University of Arizona. In Canada, we've got British Columbia University. We've got, I think McGill University is still part of the list. There's just quite a number of them out there. Check it out. It takes just a Google search. You'll find that. When you get to the interview stage, connect with Nelson to link us up, and I'll be more than happy to speak with you then.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So next we have Azina. Azina, you can unmute your mic and speak.
Good evening, sir.
Hello.
This question might be a bit intriguing, but do you mind me asking?
Go ahead.
So I want to ask if you have ever abandoned an idea and you regretted it later.
Oh, okay. Have I abandoned an idea and I have abandoned a lot of ideas. Have I regretted it? Not really. Not really. I'm trying to think back. Let me see. I'll rephrase it. I have made micro decisions that I regret. And I wouldn't say regret, actually, that I have learned from. And I would not make such mistakes again. So micro decisions that I look back on and I'm like, oh, I could have done that better, or the way I approached it was not the best approach. Yes. Particular ideas, if I'm walking out of something, I walk wholeheartedly. Like that's me saying, I've thought about it thoroughly, and that's my final decision. I'm walking out of it. Does that make sense? I started an investment group with friends. We invested in Kenya. We invested in Nigeria. This was whilst I was, well, I think my second or third year at the University of Edinburgh. We did some investment, I think, even in South Africa or thereabout. And we all just sat and were like, okay, you know what? This is not working. I would close it up. Looking back, okay, was that the best decision? Maybe. Could we have done things better? I think so. But we're looking back again, we're also young, we're naive, we're just ambitious. So again, it's to also know where to draw the line in terms of, oh, are those truly mistakes, or is it a factor of age? Is it a factor of experience? Because at some point in life, you also look back and you're like, oh, wait a minute, he's just a younger version of you, right? So don't beat yourself up for that. So micro decisions, yes, that has happened. And for major decisions, major innovative ideas I've worked on that I walked away from, is because I wanted to walk away from it, and I own up to that decision. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, Fatima is back.
Okay. Good evening, sir. I really want to appreciate please.
I think Nelson, you need to mute yourself. Yeah. Okay, Fatima, go on. Fatima, you're on mute, by the way.
Okay. The question I want to ask is that how can I create and innovate with limited resources in my society, and also with discrimination, and as an SS3 student that is going out of secondary school, like what can we do to be self-sustaining and to help ourselves in this country's economy? Like how can we create, what are the ideas, and how are we going to know that, okay, if I know it's going to be a 50-50, it's going to be 50-50 chance, like how am I going to like know what to create, what to innovate, and the ideas, or the vibrant for someone to do that, sir? That is the question I want to ask.
Well, at SS3, I would assume your most important asset at this time, or your absolute focus, would be like finishing school. Or more so, you mentioned something which is like self-sustaining. Don't put that pressure on yourself just yet. Not yet. I will not ask about your family and all of that, but don't put that pressure on yourself. Put everything you've got into smashing your final exams. That's your WAEC and NECO, or whichever exam you sit for. So channel all the energy into that. Like read like your life depends on it. That's what I did not do, and I say I regret that one. So read like your life depends on it. Smash it as much as possible, because that will then position you for so many other opportunities in the future. In terms of innovation, remember that it's worth noting that a lot of great companies, forget the Mark Zuckerberg or the young guys, this person dropped out of Harvard, then went to build a startup that became multi-million pounds or multi-billion or so. Forget all those stories. Story of someone like you and I, an average CEO becomes a true CEO at about in their 40s, thereabouts. So I'm going to assume you're like 16 to 18 thereabouts right now. There is a long way to go. There is a long way to go. So control what you can control today. Once your WAEC result is, if you smash that well enough, tell Nelson to connect us and we'll have a conversation about next steps. But please put all your 100% attention into that right now. Okay?
Thank you so much, sir. All right, I think the last question and then we are done. Tajuddin Abdul Salam, can you unmute your mic and then? Tajuddin, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So my question is, what were your challenges and how do you overcome those challenges?
Challenges in terms of finance, yes. So money was a big challenge, right? Growing up. How did I overcome it? By putting my mind into the thing I can do, which is by academics, not in high school, which again I'm saying, and it's important that I stress that out so you don't be like I'm selling you false hope. But that is one I look back, I should have paid more attention then. But if you can, I think that's the one you can control. There are other things. I mean, being sent home for school fees and all of that was not great, but it was just part of the experience, right? And is that in my control? I was playing piano across Ayobo at that point in time. I was earning a good amount of money monthly, right? But is it my responsibility to actually pay my tuition and stuff? If we're being honest, no. But of course, we all find ourselves in situations beyond our ability. So I think that was my own major challenge, access to capital. But also, I like to see it as the propelling force, like.
Okay, so thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. So I like to see it as a propelling force, like something that's that makes me do what I want to do even better. Because when I ask, what's the why, what's the North Star, what was making me burn within to even do more, is knowing where I'm coming from. Does that make sense? So I remember when I was getting there, before I got the IS score in Nigeria for the music exam I talked about, my piano teacher then, a Jamaican-American woman, she said, if you get this particular score, I would give you, the organization will refund your tuition, like they will refund the amount you paid for the exam. That was not actually true, but she knew just saying that alone, I will smash that exam. You know what I mean? And I smashed it because you know what I mean? It was just like, they'll pay me back. Hey, I would, and again, I think something I did not mention earlier, I was on a MTN Foundation scholarship, by the way, for 2 years at Muson. So I did not pay for Muson also. So that Masterclass was not my first full scholarship. MTN was my first full scholarship. So I was there for 2 years. But MTN gives you a monthly stipend, right, at Muson. And to pay for this exam I was talking about, I think it took up about 6 months or 7 months of my stipend. So I wrote an undertaking that, for the next 7 months, I would not be receiving my stipend. All of that should go towards this exam I want to sit for. Then you tell me if I smash the exam, you give me that money back. Come on. What else do I want to do in my life except smashing the exam? Do you get one? So if you don't have something that propels you, you open a book and you don't want to read. And now I don't read. Honestly, I don't read as much as I should. But when there's something burning from within, There is nothing that can tell. And how much was this exam we're talking about? It's like, was it $30 or $50 or something? Or 50 pounds or so. It's so cheap. Now, I mean, calculating for inflation today, that's like 100K naira or something, or 120,000 naira. Like, but going back, this was 10 years ago or something, so it's just like, come on. Like, I mean, technically it's money that's other people would have their parents pay for them. They don't have to think about it. But I had to think about it. That's going to cost me 7 months of not receiving a stipend. So tell me how I went into that exam like an hungry lion. As I saw the paper, I was tearing it apart. Don't joke with someone that is burning from within. Again, your story, where you are coming from, should be the propelling force for what you want to do. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. We have a question in the chat box.
Okay.
It reads, please, sir, how can I tell the difference between creativity and intellectual arrogance? A lot of people, society, I would say, believe that the moment you think creatively, or just wanted something big, too big for you, maybe, you are being proud and delusional.
Okay. I can pick that up. First of all, you need to watch your environment. Mhm. And also know when you've outgrown that environment. Right? With everything with everything I've said, there were points in there where I was going an unconventional route. Remember, I said I don't know what a jam form looked like. Like, how do you tell an average Nigerian father that you're not picking up a jam form? Are you crazy? Like, what are you gonna do with your life? You want to do music? Like, who does music in Ayobo? And you're not even singing like Davido. I'm not a singer at all. I play classical piano. Like, who is gonna attend my concert? If I put a classical concert in Ayobo today, I'll barely find one person. Maybe Nelson will come and everybody on this call, but you're only coming to support me, not because you'd actually pay for the concert. Do you get what I'm talking about? Again, it sounded out of the box. It sounded like, are you normal? But again, it was now, okay, how can I move myself out of this environment where this norm, it does not make sense until it started becoming normal. I remember one of my siblings was like, with this one you are going to do, you'll drink Gary. But they then came to Muson, and they saw the art. They saw how this same Ifeanyi from home was appreciated, and what is like, wow, you're doing so well for yourself. My dad came from my graduation. Even the owner of About Day Spring School came from my Muson graduation. Everybody wanted to see, like, this boy, you've been saying this thing for years. Well, let's see what, again, it's not intellectual arrogance. You also have to know where to draw the line. Are you saying, oh, I've started reading books and I don't want to pay attention to anybody anymore? Or are you saying, actually, let's sit at the table. I'm progressing into this next phase of life, and because of that, I think I want to move one step further geographically, or changing my friend circle, or there's so many things, and it's also uncover with age. Right, I look back at my 18-year-old to almost 29 now. Like, I'm a completely different person. I'm a completely different person. You can ask Nelson, if you knew me in school, I can consider myself proud also. I'm not somebody everybody can relate to, right? But again, I know where I stand. Like, over time, things just start to uncover itself, and people who are intellectually arrogant would not also move far in life, because your character is another thing that will open doors that the book cannot open. Because I mean, when you enter the University of Edinburgh, even for the British student, it is difficult to gain admission. So if you're already in, you get the same qualification as every other person. What is left is who you are. Who are you? Can people relate to you? What's your story? What's your character? How do you treat people? How do you make them feel? That's what starts to open doors that you can't read. The book is not, you can't bribe anybody to get onto those doors because it's about you, something internal. So if you've not nurtured that and you're saying you are reading for reading's sake and everybody's a fool, then you are the greatest fool. Does that make sense? So it's knowing where to draw the line. Think creatively, but also respect what is the norm. Again, you can also break out of the norm. You all are, I mean, for those who know Ayobo, and I mean, I've got my PSN year, like 2 years, right? And I remember going back home 4 or 5 years ago. I think my dad actually saw it first in an image, you know, in the picture. And I was like, is that some piercing there? And I was like, yes. But again, I've done so much good that it rules out one wrong in his own sight. Does that make sense? You know, so again, are you arrogant, or are you going astray? Or are you genuinely just exploring yourself as a person and being authentic to yourself? You know, I like to say your African self, you know. And even there are places I go in Nigeria, when I'm in Lagos, if I'm walking about at night, sometimes I take out my PS, like the last thing you want is an harassment from the police. We all know how that experience is in some part of Lagos. So again, it's also, if you go there and start speaking, I study at University of Edinburgh, I'm speaking English, Yoruba will say, so then you are being stupid. You know what I mean? Like you have to give what is Caesar to Caesar. You just cut it all out. Does that make sense? Like I'm home. This is not London. This is like home. It's not enough. That's fine. How long am I going to be there? 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I'm out. So what's the problem? Intellectual arrogance. We need to draw that line. So please be intellectually curious, but also apply wisdom and tread lightly, that I would say. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Moving on, sir, I have a question that I would like you to answer. Okay, it reads, so I want to ask, what were your challenges studying abroad, like studying abroad away from your home, Nigeria? What were your challenges and what did you do to overcome these challenges? Thank you.
Oh, again, I think my experience would be different from a lot of international students who are self-sponsored or so. Because again, MasterCard shields you from so many things. You know, I said I came, everything was already ready. It just felt like I left my house in Lagos and there was already everything set up. But there was a dinner was there, like anything you can imagine was there waiting for me. So it never felt like that big a transition. I did not even, I think, did I even go out to buy a SIM card? I don't think so. Like everything was just there. You know, so I think I just needed to carry my clothes and just move, you know. So I don't think I have the true experience of somebody just leaving home, packing everything to come and start a new life here. But what I would say I did have is what everybody experienced, walking into the class the first day and not truly understanding everything. You know, I mean, I'm not, at Moson, we had a few master classes that had like some British people coming, but I've not studied. I mean, aside Nigeria, Moson, it was me, Nelson, and our cohort in Abbott. You know what I mean? Like, how many English are we speaking in Abbott? That you know that you're not at the University of Edinburgh. You know, it's different. It's different in that way. But again, the moment you start to open your mind, it's something that is very easy to overcome, right? And also that feeling of imposter syndrome, I think for like a week or two, I would not ask a question in class because I don't know if what I'm going to say is going to sound stupid or off or something. You know what I mean? I'll just like, anybody have a question, you all can speak. I'm not speaking. But then with time, I had a good friend, Jem, a Turkish guy, you know. I just feel like we're not so different. Like he gets my joke. We think a very alike. We grew up in different parts of the world. He's coming from Turkey. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm just like, okay, what's the worst it can be? And I think that's when everything started to open up for me. I started to enter spaces and fill those spaces up, right? Whereas spaces I've entered prior to that, I was more like shrinking myself because I did not, just by the color of your skin and the way you sound. And again, I've been in the UK for 8 years now. I don't think I sound British at all, not at all. A couple of words might be different in how I'll pronounce it subconsciously. I mean, okay, just on the side, I know people who have traveled out for like 2 weeks and they start to roll their tongue. We don't do that here. You know, so how comfortable are you in yourself? Because if it's not coming from within, if you're not genuinely happy, you know, you start to speak normally, you understand what people are saying. So far you can speak, they can understand, and you can also hear. Yeah. And I think another challenge was just assessment. You know, in at least in Nigeria, where I studied, I don't know where you are studying, but if you get 90, 80, like you are trying, you have not smashed it yet. You need to be like in the 90 to closer to 100, and you're like a student. Whereas at the university, if you get 60, shock you celebrate that. Do you get what I mean? It is a shocker. Like you've read all what you can read. This means saying highest score at Nigeria. It does not apply here. But it's just the educational system. But the moment you start to understand it, you're not like, okay, I should not beat myself up. I'm actually trying, you know, and because it is designed to challenge you, to start to think outside the box or even within the box, you know. But I think the most important thing that made me settle in terms of like overcoming all those challenges of an international student is me accepting me for who I am. You know, not just treading into place, oh, I'm a black man and people are treating me this way. No, there's racism. I'm not saying there's no racism. But if that is the only thing you are thinking about, then you are a prisoner in your own mind. So I had friends from all over the world. I could pick up my phone now. I don't know. I could land in Dubai. I know somebody I'll call, a classmate or something. I could land in the state. There will always be some. Like my class, we just get diverse, like from so many parts of the world. So if you are complaining, then if everybody's complaining, then there's a bigger problem. So like, how do we integrate? How do we maximize the opportunity? Most importantly, remember, I was a Mastercard scholar, and we had at that point we had 4 years of Mastercard. So across fourth, third, second, first. So there were like about 100 other Africans on campus. So there was a community to like support you and all of that. So again, I did not experience the true international student experience, which all thanks to Mastercard. But in the reality of life, it's just me being me and understanding like this is how I speak, this is how I express myself. And also, I mean, there is a lot we can talk about, but I'll leave that because that might not be true for different parts of the world. I know people in the States have a different experience from those in Canada to those in Britain, you know, so it differs. So I don't want to tell you something that you travel and you'll be like, oh, Ifeanyi was lying. No. It's just different contexts and different places, but that was my experience, yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir.